My name is Keiichi Shirai, and I'm a rare personal safety advisor in Japan. In this article, I will summarize the key findings of the Global Terrorism Index 2025 and provide additional information to help improve personal safety. Table of contents. I will share my wisdom to help protect you from the dangers of terrorism. I will begin with an explanation of the Global Terrorism Index. The GTI is an index published annually by the Australian think tank Institute for Economics and Peace that quantitatively evaluates the impact of terrorism worldwide. The Terrorism Index analyzes the occurrence of terrorism worldwide and quantifies it into an index. It illustrates trends in terrorism and the regions in which it occurs, using charts and maps to make the information easy to understand. Although we have listed the GTI's definition of terrorism, it can be difficult to determine whether an act constitutes terrorism. These are the basic trends in global terrorism in 2024. ISIS has spread terrorism around the world. In particular, the number of terrorist incidents in Europe has doubled. The number of deaths per terrorist incident remains high. These are the specific figures for global terrorism in 2024. This graph illustrates the high incidence of terrorism in the Sahel region, including Burkina Faso. Please also note the comparison with the figures for 2018. This map shows an overview of countries in the Sahel region. This graph shows the number of countries where terrorism occurred, listed by year. This number has begun to increase again since 2023. The number of deaths per terrorist incident remains high. This shows the number of terrorist attacks and the number of deaths. There are several reasons why the number of deaths increases even when the number of terrorist attacks decreases. The examples listed here are representative. This shows the countries where the GTI terrorism index has widened sharply, broken down by region. Clearly, terrorism is widespread in Africa, the Middle East, South Asia, and Northern South America. Key points. Terrorism is on the rise. This graph clearly shows the prevalence of IS terrorism. The vast terrorist region of the Islamic State's Khorasan province is noteworthy. Regions and countries currently at the highest risk of terrorism. While it is no surprise that terrorist attacks are prevalent in conflict zones. The figure of 93% for lone wolf terrorism is striking. It is advisable to avoid countries with high terrorist risk. The increase in terrorist attacks in Europe and the United States is a serious issue. Entry into countries with high levels of jihadist terrorism should be avoided. Nordic countries are no longer safe. The rise in hate crime following the Gaza war also poses a significant threat. The growing proximity between Islamic extremists and neo-Nazis is undoubtedly increased the risk of terrorism. Terrorism is increasingly no longer driven by ideology. We should focus on knives rather than firearms as a means of terrorism. It is necessary to prevent the damage caused by terrorism. The first step in preventing terrorism is gathering information. Avoid countries that are experiencing internal conflicts or have serious political or economic problems. Pay attention to the overseas safety information published by each country's government. Although terrorist attacks are extremely rare in Europe and the United States, it is important to always be prepared for the possibility of terrorism, as this will also help to prevent other crimes. The first step is to pay attention to your surroundings so that you can quickly detect danger. Small precautions, such as checking emergency exits, can mean the difference between life and death in an emergency. High-intensity torches are an effective deterrent against knife and car terrorism, both of which are on the rise. They can temporarily blind attackers and give you a chance to escape. Choose a reliable one. Drones and young people are a cause for concern regarding the future of terrorism. The means of terrorism are becoming more accessible, such as knives and cars. Drone terrorism is also a growing concern. The range of potential threats is expanding. The dangers of drone terrorism have been recognized for several years, but drones have become much more dangerous due to their improved performance following the war in Ukraine. Summary: don't ignore the dangers of terrorism. Always be aware of your surroundings and consider escape routes in case of an attack. This will help protect your life. I pray for your safety and peace of mind in the future.